Cleopatra VII, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, is one of history's most fascinating figures. Known for her intelligence, political acumen, and romantic liaisons with powerful Roman leaders like Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, Cleopatra's reign marked a significant period in ancient history. Her life and legacy continue to captivate the imagination, symbolizing both the allure and tragedy of the ancient world. She is a powerful queen, not Egyptian, but she ruled Egypt for decades, a symbol of forbidden love, ruling through seduction. She married her brother and had him killed. The most famous leaders and rulers fell under her spell. We narrate from history the story of the Queen of Queens, Cleopatra VII, the Queen of Egypt. She embodied beauty and possessed an irresistible charm. Her legacy pulsed through the veins of history, making her the woman who inspired all women to emulate her. She captivated the minds of poets and artists who attempted to describe her beauty and royal intellect. Cleopatra was the daughter of Ptolemy XII, the last ruler from the Ptolemaic dynasty, which was of Greek origin rather than native Egyptian. She was a descendant of Ptolemy I, the Greek general who conquered Egypt after the death of Alexander the Great, which made her roots not Egyptian but Greek. She married her brother Ptolemy XIII during an era when sibling marriages were common without religious restrictions. Cleopatra skillfully wielded power alongside him, but soon her brother fell under the influence of advisors who conspired to exile her from Alexandria to seize power. In response, Cleopatra turned to the Egyptian east, gathering an army of Bedouins to reclaim her position. She arrived at a place called Pelusium, now known as Port Said, where she clashed with her brother's forces. At the same time, Roman ships led by Julius Caesar reached Alexandria to establish alliances in the struggle for the throne. Both sides sought Cleopatra's support in their attempts to gain power. Using her beauty and intelligence, Cleopatra successfully won the loyalty of Julius Caesar, leading to the beginning of a significant historical relationship between Caesar and Cleopatra. After the decisive Battle of Alexandria in 47 BC, which ended with the death of Ptolemy XIII, Cleopatra rose to rule Egypt alongside her younger brother, Ptolemy XIV. However, the conflicts between her and her brother caused turmoil in Alexandria. Ultimately, backed by Julius Caesar, she regained control of Egypt, forming a close relationship with Caesar to support their divergent interests. Caesar in settling Egypt's debts, and Cleopatra in restoring her glory and expanding his empire into regions like Syria, Palestine, and Cyprus. Years later, the assassination of Mark Antony in Rome led to the division of the Roman Empire among its greatest powers, Octavian and Antony. Antony's desire for dominance came into conflict with Octavian's ambitions, prompting Cleopatra to attempt an alliance with Antony to become his partner. However, her marriage to a foreigner violated Roman laws. This struggle contributed to the division of the Roman Empire into East and West, with Egypt falling under Antony's control. Cleopatra continued to employ her strategic plans, impressing Antony not only with her beauty, but also with her intelligence. Antony's defeat at the naval battle of Actium in 30 BC near Greece sealed his fate against Octavian's forces. Upon learning of Antony's loss, Cleopatra chose to commit suicide. Legend has it that she used snake venom to end her life, a tragic end for a bewitching ruler who has always captivated the hearts of poets, writers, and historians throughout the ages. I would like to share with you some intriguing facts about Cleopatra that you may not be aware of. Cleopatra is one of the most famous figures in history, and she was the last pharaoh of Egypt, as well as one of the most influential women in the history of mankind. However, it can be challenging to separate historical facts from fiction in the life of this queen. So, here are some pieces of information that might be new to you. First, Cleopatra was married to two of her brothers. Cleopatra was one of the children of King Ptolemy XII and his wife Cleopatra V. This may seem strange, but marriage among siblings was common among most royal families in the past, including the Ptolemies. Their reasoning was that these marriages preserved the purity of the lineage. When she turned 14, her father chose her to be his co-ruler after her mother's death. After her father's death, Cleopatra took the throne and needed a partner for governance, which led her to marry her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, who was at that time just 10 years old. Second, Julius Caesar erected a statue of her in the Temple of Venus Genetrix. When Cleopatra allied with the Syrians, the Romans protested and decided to assist her first husband or brother in regaining the throne. At that time, Cleopatra decided to meet with Caesar and reportedly succeeded in capturing his attention after it was said that she wrapped herself in a carpet to reach his camp. Indeed, they became allies, and Caesar restored the throne to Cleopatra. Despite the age difference between them, they became lovers, although many films portray their relationship as purely romantic. Researchers confirm it was a political partnership. When Caesar erected a statue of Cleopatra in the Temple of Venus in Rome, it was a true scandal to Roman religious sentiments. Third, Mark Antony missed a campaign to spend more time with Cleopatra. The first meeting between Cleopatra and Antony took place in the city of Tarsus in Turkey, and this encounter demonstrated the Egyptian queen's ability to leave a good impression. Cleopatra was well aware that Antony saw himself as the embodiment of the Greek god Dionysus, and she decided to play along. She appeared at the city gate, dressed as the goddess Aphrodite, accompanied by attendants in divine attire, and she greatly impressed him. So much so that he missed an important military campaign to spend more time with her. 4. Cleopatra was not exceptionally beautiful. What? How? She has always been portrayed in films as an incredibly beautiful figure. Unfortunately, this may just be another myth. In February 2007, an ancient coin bearing Cleopatra's image was discovered, and it did not depict a woman of extraordinary beauty. This does not mean she was ugly, rather she had an average appearance. In any case, her contemporaries did not perceive her beauty in her looks, but rather in her personality and irresistible charm. I believe they understood the true meaning of beauty. 5. Cleopatra was not only a ruler, but also a mother. Although she did not have children with her brothers, she gave birth to children from both Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. From Caesar, she had a son named Caesarion, which means Little Caesar. She also had 3 children with Mark Antony, Cleopatra Selene and Alexander Helios. The twins were named in honor of the sun and the moon, while her third child was named Ptolemy Philadelphus. 6. Cleopatra loved to spend a lot of money, but not solely on herself. She spent approximately 50% of the kingdom's revenues on beauty and other luxuries. However, she was also an exceptionally efficient ruler who cared for her people. The queen implemented public service programs that made Alexandria a strong, wealthy, and prestigious city. 7. Cleopatra's cause of death may not have been from a snake bite. Don't ask me about that. The circumstances of Cleopatra's death remain a subject of debate, according to the well-known narrative. Cleopatra supposedly forced a poisonous snake to bite her on the chest. However, such a painful and horrific death would take hours, which contradicts the fact that she died quickly. The ancient historian Strabo noted that Cleopatra always carried a comb dipped in poison, suggesting she may have used it to commit suicide. Other historians believe that the queen might have ingested a lethal concoction derived from the venom of various snakes. 8. Cleopatra was capable of speaking Egyptian Arabic, which was of great importance. The queen was a member of the Ptolemaic dynasty that ruled Egypt for 300 years, descending from Ptolemy I, a Macedonian Greek general during the era of Alexander the Great. Hence, Cleopatra's family spoke Greek and followed Greek traditions. All official documents for the ruling family were recorded in 2 official languages, Greek and Egyptian Arabic. It is surprising that the Egyptians did not resist the Greek rule of their country, possibly because they favored these invaders over previous conquerors, namely the Persians. In any case, they might have appreciated Cleopatra's effort to learn to write and speak their native language. Moreover, Cleopatra was the first in her family to embrace the local culture, ancient customs, and Egyptian gods. She even managed to convince people that she embodied the goddess Isis. 9. Cleopatra's famous makeup served as a form of protection, featuring many images depicting the queen with heavily lined eyes in black coal. It often extended down the sides of her face, forming a spiral shape. The New York Times reported that coal was not used solely for cosmetic purposes. It contained 4 substances, including lead, and was effective in preventing eye infections. This practice was common in ancient Egypt, where lead was toxic to the bacteria that caused these infections. Being a talented chemist, she likely understood this and used it to her advantage. But this raises the question of whether applying a toxic substance like lead to one's face is a wise idea. Is this a question directed at a lady who married 2 of her brothers? 10. Cleopatra owned a perfume factory, showcasing the queen's talent in chemistry, believing that fragrance could be a tool of persuasion, which prompted her to harness its full power. Besides that, Cleopatra had a perfume factory. Its ruins were found near Ain Gedi, located near the Dead Sea. This place served as a resort and beauty salon. Cleopatra kept various recipes in her book, Genie Sirum. But unfortunately, that book, along with all its knowledge, was lost in the disastrous fire of the Library of Alexandria.